everyone, welcome back to Canada Stories. My name is Monisha and I hope you all are safe and are doing fine. I'm back again with another video today, and this video will be a continuation of your previous IELTS series. And this is the second episode in the IELTS series, which will be talking about IELTS speaking part 2. We will be looking at what happens in section 2, few tips and tricks that will help you score higher, along with few do's and don'ts. Okay guys, before we get started with the video, I want you guys to have a pen and paper handy. Okay, and also whenever I'm giving you examples, you can pause my video and you can start practicing along with me. Now let's talk about the agenda of this video. I'll be taking you through on how the exam will be conducted, the points based on which you will be judged upon, and I'll be giving you examples explaining how one should practice. And in my previous IELTS video, I also told you about a predefined structure, like the IELTS has a predefined structure. So if you get a hold of this predefined structure, it'll be very easy for you to score higher band. This predefined structure, it comprises of 6 points. I'll be explaining you all the 6 points along with few examples, do's and don'ts. So all you need to do is follow me along through the end of the video and concentrate on all the 6 points and practice as much as possible so that you can get a higher band. Without further ado, let's get into the video. First and foremost, let's try to understand what you will be graded upon in this part. Fluency and coherence, which means how smoothly you speak and how organized is your speech. The second point is lexical resource, which means the vocabulary. The third point is your grammatical range and accuracy. So basically about the grammar. And fourth is your pronunciation. If you see here, it's all about being judged on the language. It's not about the reality of the story or your accent here. Now that we have a fair idea about grading, let's try to understand how the examination is being conducted. The IELTS speaking part 2 lasts for about 3 minutes, out of which you have 1 minute to prepare and 2 minutes to talk. Now, what happens in section 2 is the examiner will give you a task card. It's also called as a cue card. Okay, so now the task card will have question about anything. Say for example, the museum that you visited, or the best gift that you got till date, or an advertisement that inspired you, or an article that you recently read, or any question about any different topic. So guys, let's take a look on how your task card or your cue card is going to look like. So you see here, describe your favorite photograph. You should say, now you have your sub questions, so which is like, where was the photo taken, who took the photo, what can be seen from the photo, explain why it is the favorite photograph for you. You will be given a pencil and a paper to make notes, so do not write it on the task card. Okay, so once you have your cue card, you have 1 minute to take a look at the question, read the question, have a fair idea in your mind, and then make your notes. And then the examiner will tell you, you can begin. Only then you'll have to start for talking about 2 minutes. Guys, this part can be a bit challenging because it's not going to be an interactive session, which means that examiner will not ask you any questions. You have to talk continuously for about 2 minutes, and for that you have just 1 minute to prepare, and that 1 minute will feel like a second. You can easily relate to what I'm telling once you're at the examination center. To overcome all these challenges, one must follow the predefined structure that comprises of 6 points. Like I mentioned earlier, I have worked on this video completely from the scratch and have referred to many books and videos and have come up with these 6 points. If you follow this honestly, you'll be able to score higher band. Now let's begin with those magical 6 points. Point number 1, keywords. Guys, if you think you can talk just by looking at the task card, it's going to be really difficult because the anxiety levels will be really high, which can be nerve-wracking. That's the first thing. Next, you may forget and go off track, and thereby you'll end up speaking for less than a minute. Making key points will help you elaborate the topic, talk in an orderly manner, because without planning you will end up talking only the general aspect of your given topic. So do utilize this crucial 1 minute to plan your speech and jot down the points. Now the next question in your mind is how to write your key points. I would suggest you guys to write words, not sentences, because you just have 1 minute. And if you sit down writing sentences, it's clear cut that you're just wasting your time and you might not be able to cover up all the sentences and say whatever is in your mind. And also, don't exceed more than 2 or 3 words per point. Next, when you're writing your keywords, make sure your keywords are covering all the sub-questions as well. Let me show you how I make my notes for the example that I mentioned earlier. Now, the task card has question which says describe your favorite photograph. And it has sub-questions like where was the photo taken, who took the photo, what can be seen from the photo, explain why it is the favorite photograph for you. Now I will be writing down the keywords related to the question as well as the sub-question. The question says describe your favorite photograph, for which I have written childhood picture. And the sub-questions like where was the photo taken, I say at my native home. I leave some space. Then who took the photo? I write local studio and I leave some space. The next question is what can be seen from the photo? I write my complete family and I leave some space. And explain why it is the favorite photograph for you. I write only pic -grandfather and I leave some space. Now, I will be writing down all the keywords that comes to my mind, like photo 5 years old, photo to cherish, only photograph, native home, black and white photograph, happiness in everyone's face, was in the middle, yellow t-shirt, traditional dress, greenery around, priceless. If you could observe here, I have noted down whatever came into my mind related to the topic and the sub-questions that were asked. I have also tried using nouns, describing words, adverbs, adjectives wherever required. Now once you are done writing your notes, you can frame your sentences based on each of the keyword. If you observe here, I have noted down everything that came to my mind and that was related to the question and also the sub-questions that were asked. So you can use more describing words like your nouns, adverbs, adjectives wherever possible. Now, once you're done writing the notes, you can frame your sentences using each of these keywords. Now that we have successfully learned on how to make our keywords, let's move on to our next point. Point number 2 is try to cover every point that you have mentioned. Read the question carefully and make notes accordingly. What you can do is you can place your cue card or your task card along with your notes side by side right in front of you so that you don't miss out on any of these points. Also, simultaneously you can underline or you can place a tick mark on each of those points or each of those keywords as in when you're talking so that you can cover most of the points. Point number 3, use your personal experience, which means do not memorize or by heart your answers. You can use your personal experience while you're talking. So if you use your personal experience, this will help you to keep the flow while you're talking. Point number 4, create a story. You might encounter a situation wherein you've not had any kind of personal experience at all. In this situation, you will imagine a story or create a story. You might have had any of your friends or relatives describing their experiences or their stories with you. So just steal their story, make it your story and put it across. As mentioned earlier, you are not being judged for the reality of your story. You're not being judged like for how true is your story. Instead, you're just being judged for your language. So it's okay to steal someone's story and make it your story and put it across. Now let's move on to point number 5, which is elaborate your answers. Now the next question that comes to your mind is how can I elaborate my answers? There are 2 things that you can do here to elaborate your answers. One is by giving examples and second is by adding feelings and opinions. So I'll take you through how. Since most of the questions will be descriptive ones, for example, describe your favorite holiday destination. So if you have had any of your personal experiences going to a holiday destination, say for example if you have been to Maldives, okay, so you can give Maldives as an example, and also you must have visited nearby places. You can add those names, I mean basically the names of those places into that example. And as I told you, you'll have to add the opinions and feelings, okay. What do I mean when I say opinions and feelings? Say for example, you are describing Maldives, okay, so in my opinion I would be describing Maldives as adventurous, something that is equipped with sports, adventure, vibrant, calm, and people all around. So these are some things that describes the opinions and how I'm feeling about that place. So you can add all these in, so you can make your keywords and then elaborate those keywords. You can form your sentences based on these keywords. So the example that I gave you was based on the personal experience. So this is how you would be speaking your personal experience. Now let's imagine a situation wherein you don't have a story to tell. You don't have any, or you have not had any personal experience at all. So let's create an imaginary story by giving examples and adding some feelings and opinions. So the question that was asked was, describe your favorite holiday destination. So for example, say I like beaches, okay. So let's decide a place which has beach. I might say Goa or Maldives, okay. Now let's see how I frame my keywords by adding examples, also by adding opinions and feelings. So I'm going to write Goa, vibrant, calm, refreshing, relax, food by beach. Say something like happy people, soothing, coconut trees, parties, water sports, adventures, spa, energized. So all these key points or all these keywords describe how I felt about the beach. I also added few examples here. This will help you to elaborate your answers. Let's move on to our last point, which is point number 6, organizing your answers. In this part, you'll be planning on how to answer your questions. Okay, so basically you are telling a story. Now your story should have an introduction, a description, and an ending. Now, how do you start an introduction? You can start an introduction by using these sentences like I want to talk about, or I'm going to talk about, or you can also say I would like to talk about. So this is how you're going to start your story. Now let's move on to the description part. Here you will be addressing all the points in the question as well as in the sub-question. Here you can use the transition words like firstly, secondly, thirdly, or you can also say first of all. So all these are like the connecting words. This will help you to organize your answers in an orderly manner. Let's move on to the ending part. Here you can use words like finally, therefore, that's all about, this is all about my past, and thereby. So all these are the words that will help you to conclude a sentence. Here I'm mentioning few introductory sentences that you can use, like in the past, when I was a child, or when I was 9 years, many years ago, or when I was. You can also say when I was schooling or during my childhood. Now few words that you can use under present are recently, currently, nowadays, of late, at the moment. Few other connecting words that you can use for sentences that include your future would be in the future, going forward, after 10 years. Okay guys, let's take an example of my recent visit to museum. And let's see how I have used these transition words and based on the introduction, description and the ending that was given to the story. First of all, I'm glad that I got a chance to visit a museum, which is a historic place in my city. Let me tell you how interesting was my experience at the museum. Firstly, I saw a huge statue that was displayed right in front of the museum's entrance. Secondly, I saw another statue that looked similar to the one that was kept at the entrance of the museum. Moving further, I saw a huge artifact that attracted many other tourists like me. And so you can continue. Alright guys, we have learned successfully about the 6 magical points that will help you to score higher. Again, I'm stressing on practicing. So record yourself, evaluate your recordings. So listen to your own recordings, evaluate, and then again practice. Okay, so choose any random topic. So don't just practice on the easier ones. Okay, and also I'll be leaving links in the description box below so that it will be helpful for you to practice. Now that we have learned all the do's of the videos, let's get into the don'ts of the videos. Now let's see what are the things that one must avoid doing in this section. Point number 1, don't panic, relax. Be confident and talk as though you're talking to your friend. So if you're nervous, you will mess things up. So it's better to stay calm and relaxed. Point number 2, don't memorize. As much as possible, use your personal experience. As mentioned earlier, it will help you to keep the flow. Point number 3, as mentioned earlier, don't use sentences. Use words. Write maximum of 2 or 3 words per point. That's more than enough. Else, you will end up wasting your time. Let's move on to point number 4. Make sure your answers aren't too short. So expand your answers wherever necessary, give examples and voice in your opinions, and also do not go off the topic. Stay relevant to your topics. Point number 5, it's okay if you have an accent. It's okay if you cannot pronounce your words correctly. Okay, say for example, if you have made a grammatical mistake in your examination, it's completely fine. You can just move on. Point number 6, don't go too fast or don't go too slow. Okay, it's very important to be loud and clear, which means don't shout. Point number 7, don't give out too much information in the beginning. Be a little vague. So what do I mean when I say be a little vague? So let's consider an example. Say for example, if your question is describe your last weekend. I'll give you 2 scenarios here. The first scenario, I'm just giving out all the information here. Last weekend, I attended a school function wherein I was invited as a chief guest. It was really good. So this is your first scenario. Here you're giving out your complete information. Now let's consider scenario 2. Let me tell you why my last weekend was interesting. My cousin's school was hosting an annual day function. My cousin, whose name is Tom, was pretty much excited as he was participating in a cultural program. He was overwhelmed to know that I was invited as a chief guest. If you compare scenario 1 with scenario 2, in scenario 1, I gave out the complete information in the beginning itself. Whereas in scenario 2, I didn't give out the complete information in just one sentence. So I started with the story, okay, and I told how I felt about the last weekend, and then I included my cousin. I told about his name and how he was feeling, and then finally I told that I was invited as a chief guest. So guys, the agenda of the story is you have 2 minutes, okay, so think wisely, plan, organize your answers, and then start speaking. Also guys, do indicate when your speech is over. So you could say finally, or this is all about, or that's how my past went. Okay, something like this. Use these sentences so that it indicates the examiner that you are done with your story. Now, after this, the examiner will ask you a short follow-up questions. So here you need not elaborate your answers in part 2, especially if it is a follow-up question. Guys, please know if you speak for complete 2 minutes, the examiner will end up asking you only 1 or 2 follow-up questions. And if you spoke for less than 2 minutes, that's when your examiner will ask you with several follow-up questions. So don't be surprised. And after this, the examiner will tell you we are moving to part 3. That's when you know that you are done with part 2. And another important thing is that if the examiner interrupts you in between, don't panic. Okay, it's because of the time constraint, they might try to cut you off. So it's completely fine. Last but not the least, guys, record yourself, practice and try answering all the questions as much as possible, like the difficult ones, easy ones and boring ones. And if at all you may come across any doubts on any topic, you can just leave your comments in the comment section below. I'll try answering to them as early as I can. Alright people, that's all about today's video. I hope you found this video helpful. Please don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Meet you guys in my next video. Until then, let's stay connected. Love you guys. Bye-bye.